What's good, everyone? My name is Casey Crutchfield, and welcome to another episode of Enjoy Life. Back in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Shout out to my dude Sherm for letting me film at his house. Without further ado today, my guest on my right, he's a native of White Castle, Louisiana, and now a former Texas A&M player, but now back with the Tigers, my man, Jardin Gilbert.
Nice to meet you, bro.
How we doing, good?
I'm good.
So just to start off, how would you sum up your whole high school career? University, how long?
So I transferred in my freshman year, and then after that, I wasn't able to play my freshman year because I transferred, so I wasn't eligible. So I had to sit out my freshman year. But I started 10th grade year, won the state championship. We was the best team in the country.
In the country?
The country, most definitely, without doubt. And we won it in my freshman year too, but I didn't really contribute. We really couldn't contribute because I wasn't eligible. But then I got my first offer from Tulane after the season of my sophomore year, so it just kicked off from there.
And then the offers pretty much just kind of came rolling in.
Well, definitely.
Did you play any sports besides football in high school?
Yeah, I ran track. Only did 1 week though, and then I really played majority basketball.
Okay, so I had Chris on in an earlier episode. You think you beating him in a race or?
Nah, me who I am, I'll never say nobody beat me in anything. So we're
gonna leave it at that.
Gonna leave it at that.
Okay, so out of high school, why did you choose Texas A&M? Because I mean, I feel like a lot of people like to go to LSU, especially being from Louisiana. So what made Texas A&M so special then?
So just my recruitment was in a weird time. I had COVID. It was COVID. I wasn't able to take a whole bunch of visits. So I had to do a lot of FaceTiming and virtual tours and stuff like that. And it was the same time where the transition of Coach O was getting far. I wanted to be LSU. I did. It was just that I wasn't sure, making a big decision, the biggest decision of my life at that point. I just didn't want to be in a place where it was uncertainty. I would rather be in a place where there was certainty than uncertainty with the coaches and stuff like that, because that was the staff who was recruiting me. So I knew as a head coach get fired, a whole bunch of them gonna get wiped out. So yeah.
Yeah. Sure, we're good. But anyways, what was your first thoughts of Texas A&M right when you got there?
It was different. I didn't know anyone. Speaking of coaches leaving and stuff like that, the person who was recruiting me left. DC actually left. So in my head, I'm like, I already made the wrong decision. But got on my knees and prayed, and I was able to push through.
So moving on to the freshman year season, what was it like to play LSU?
It meant everything. Just being home, being in front of family, friends, being in Tiger Stadium. It was different. My adrenaline was pumping. I'll never forget my first time playing them here at LSU.
And what was it like to play that freshman year, like be a starter in the SEC? Because, obviously SEC is the best conference in football.
Yeah, I didn't start. I was in a rotation with the safeties at A&M. My main job was special teams, and I dominated that. And then whenever it was time for my rotation to get in the game, I got in the game.
Okay. And then, so not a lot of people know that you played hurt most of the 2022 season. Kind of tell me about that.
So my labrum, it was really my AC joint. It got so bad to the point where I was overcompensating with other muscles, and I tore my labrum. So I didn't even know that my labrum was torn, but playing through that, people don't want to hear it. Yeah, they just want you to perform on Saturdays, and if you can't perform, they don't play. But I'm just not that type of person. Like, I don't want to sit out. I want to be the best teammate, the best player. In my mindset, I feel like I could have fought through it. But looking back on it, seeing how my mindset the mental game of the injury played the part because if I was to hit my shoulder too hard, it was a excruciating pain. So that played a part. I ain't making no excuses, but I just wish that I would have took a different approach.
Mm-hmm. And so that kind of cut the season short the next season, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
And so obviously with injuries being part of the game, what kind of like helped you get through it? Because, you know, when you're going through something like that, you could obviously go down like a dark road, but it's probably more better to be positive, obviously. So kind of what was your mindset?
Nah, it was getting surgery, not playing football. I was at one of my lowest points just because I was away from the game, just because I wasn't with my teammates, just because I couldn't contribute to them not winning on Saturdays, the games that they did lose. It it was challenging, but like I always say that nothing ever lasts, the good times or the bad times. So if you continue to show up day after day, whatever storm that's over your head, it'll pass.
Yeah. And so moving on, you know, we're at LSU now. What does it mean to you to be a defensive back at LSU? Obviously, so many greats in the past. What does it mean like to be in that room?
Words, I don't have the words to describe it. It's just as soon as I walked in the building, it was the decision that I already know. I already knew that I wanted to be. I already knew I wanted to be LSU. Just the decision that I should have made from the jump. I'm happy to be home, but with the greats, with the shoes that I'm trying to fill and I will fill, it's a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of accountability that I'm taking upon myself to be one of those that's talked about, to be one of those faces that's on the wall.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say has been your favorite moment being back in Baton Rouge so far?
Um, Honestly, I'll probably just say that being able to be in arm's reach of my family and also putting on the LSU jersey like that. Me, my first time stepping in Tiger State and playing for LSU, even though it was the spring game, it meant a lot to me.
Mm-hmm. Was it hot for that spring game?
No, it was crazy hot. It was insanely hot.
Was it worse in Texas or?
So it's more humid down here.
Mm-hmm.
So
That humidity will get you though.
what? So like in my perspective, I think it's a little worse than Texas, but Texas get hot though. Get hot.
I could definitely believe that. So kind of like you were speaking about being with the family and everything, how does that like make you feel being able to return here, especially being from White Castle and graduating from U High? You know, like what does that mean to you?
So my town, White Castle, it means a lot to me. It's probably consists of nothing more than
Not
1,200 people.
Yeah.
So everybody know everybody. It's just that the reason why I go so hard is that I'm not the only good athlete that's from White Castle. Just the publicity, the exposure, it just doesn't get through there. So I want to be able to put that on the map. I just want to be able to give the other great athletes and able to shine and provide for their family.
Mm-hmm. So Sherm told me that your brother plays basketball at Southern. How does it feel to, you know, be able to be back and maybe you can go watch him play and then he can come watch you play on Saturdays?
Uh, that's he's my biggest motivation. I don't even think he know that. He just holds me to a different standard. We keep everything 100 with each other. Like if we feel like we slacking in the area, we will tell each other, "Hey, pick it up." That's just the love, the bond, the hard work that we just pushed each other to get to. So it means a lot. It means that if I get better, that he has to get better because I am on reach. I am gonna stay on him. I am going to make sure that he don't make the same mistakes that I made in college.
Mm-hmm. And do you find like y'all have always been supportive and like always looking after each other like that?
Most definitely, 100%.
So who would win in a basketball?
Oh, me all day, 100%. 100%. We recently played like probably I want to say like 2 months ago.
Mhm.
So we always play a game of 7, all ones, no matter where you shoot the ball from. We played probably like 6 times. He beat me 1 time. So the rest, other 5, oh, definitely.
Okay. Do y'all really hoop a lot at like after practice or like whenever y'all get free time?
Oh, nah, I don't. I be trying to get my body rest so I can be able to perform and run that, just do whatever the strength conditioning staff got us doing.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the upcoming season, do you feel like a different vibe in the defensive room? Like, you know, I feel like I wouldn't say the last couple of years have been necessarily bad, but compared to other years, it's been like other years have been a little bit better. So do you kind of feel a fire in the defensive room?
Most definitely. It's known that LSU wasn't LSU last year on the defensive side. And even with me coming here and being my first year, I still take on that ownership, that accountability of sucking last year. Even though I wasn't here, I still feel like that's still on me. I want to be able to be the best teammate and do whatever I need to do to improve, to make sure that we not the 153rd defense in the country or whatever it was. But do I feel a difference? Most definitely. It's in everybody's eyes though. That's what we talk about whenever we running, having to push through the line or whenever we don't feel like it. I like my group, and I feel like we are gonna not even surprise a lot of people, but give a lot of people of what expected of LSU defense.
And that's a great answer. So, just curious, do you have any games circled on the calendar?
Most definitely October 26th. That's versus A&M. That game, the first game versus USC. Um, just being able to play for LSU, being able to be home, being able to be where I should have been from the get. I'm ready for all of them.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of your goals this season in general?
To be more of a leader, first and foremost. But I'll probably say that to be more of a leader, to be a captain of the defense. I'm a safety, so make sure that everybody's on the same page. Just to be, I feel like I do a good job at it. Just to be, I always got stuff to work on. So just to be better in that, and also individual, to win the Thorpe. I will win it.
That's a good one. That's a good goal to have, though.
Most definitely, and also obviously to win a national championship.
What would you say? Which like safety put a big like impact on your life that like maybe you necessarily like emulated your game around?
In high school, I did look up to Grant Delpit. He had, in my opinion, he had everything. He had the dog mentality. He'd come down and hit, he'd cover, get sacks, had the swag, had a whole bunch of stuff like that. And also, Dora James, also kind of the same person, just a bigger body.
Mm-hmm. And did you have a favorite team growing up?
Saints. Even though they be having your blood pressure go up though, they still, they still my favorite team though.
This season, not looking so.
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about it.
So, besides football, did you have a basketball team growing up too?
Yeah, Lakers.
Lakers?
Yeah, Kobe Bryant, the best basketball player to ever touch the basketball. I stand on that.
Not even Mike or Jordan? I mean, LeBron or Jordan?
No, LeBron not even in this conversation. Not at all. LeBron not in this conversation. Mike could be 1A, 1B.
Okay. So, just kind of like moving on, what are some things that you like to do, you know, when y'all aren't in practice? Y'all aren't doing some football?
Really just, I'm really laid back. Probably just spend time. I'm very, very family oriented. So probably just spend time with family, the people that I love.
Did your parents have a big impact on you when, you know, going through all this football process? It could be a lot, and it's always good to have family in your corner.
Yeah, they really just made guided me, just gave me advice. But all the decisions that I made through football was 100% on me, and I love that they did that because you live and you learn. You don't know you made a bad decision until after. So I really don't regret anything that I've done because God got a plan for me. So during the process, they would just a shoulder to lean on if I needed any questions, if I needed any advice, if I needed reassurance with anything, they was there.
And what would you say is like, beyond football, what would you say is like some of your goals?
Uh, Not to be cliche, but just to make sure that the people that took care of me is taken care of. They don't have to worry about anything. To be in the future, to be a good husband, to be a good dad, to be just have a reputation of doing everything good and doing everything the right way.
And as far as football, if you had a team that, any team to pick that you wanted to play on, who would it be right now?
As in the NFL, um, anywhere down south, like the cold. I just don't think that. I feel like obviously your best football would be where you comfortable at, but it'll just take me a little minute to adjust to anything that's below 50 degrees.
Like anywhere like Buffalo or upstate?
Yeah, that'll be different though. But I mean, I'll enjoy the moment. Whoever get me, just know they got the best safety.
Yes, sir. So what would you say is like, speaking of like home and like going away, do you find like you like away games more or not really a fan of? I feel like it's 50-50 sometimes.
Nah, it is. It is. I do like whenever we're away and one of us make a play and there's no hollering, no cheering, just the crowd on hush. I do like that. But I also like whenever you do make a play and 102,000 people screaming and cheering for you.
Yeah. So speaking of that, by the time this probably drops, the new NCAA is gonna have came out. Are you gonna be grinding that a little bit? Or?
Most definitely. I'm not a big Madden player. My game is COD, but I do think that anybody I play, I'm a beat to.
Okay. What would you say if you had an overall prediction?
My perspective, I should be 9-9. And that's just who I am. So anything less than that, I'm gonna be disappointed. Yeah,
Okay.
sport.
And COD, are you like a Warzone or just?
Yeah, Rebirth Resurgence. I'm for sure the best on the team though. Most definitely. I'm gonna just stick that out there, put that out
Okay.
there.
And do y'all all run like squads together?
Yeah, most definitely. A couple of us run some games together.
Okay. And you usually carry it?
Most definitely, 100%. 100%.
So moving on, what would you say is one thing that is really like I wouldn't say like a stressor, but it's one thing that's you're kind of antsy on for the season?
If we're gonna be honest, just me going back out there and play ball. It's not really I'm nervous. I've been playing ball since I could remember, but just me not leaving a good impression in college football. My last game is something I'm looking forward to. Not really I'm nervous, but I'm just so eager to to get to that point to play football to put who I know I am on the field and on tape.
Mm-hmm. And would you say that there's really anything holding back this season, or we're just going?
Oh no, we're going ballistics. Like we gonna ball. We're gonna show the world what LSU really is, what LSU defense really is.
I'm truly excited to see that. But what's going on, I really don't want to keep you too long. Keep them kind of short. What was this is kind of always my closing segment. Why do you enjoy life in particular?
I am a big person of who I hang around and people who's around me, making them happy. Like I feel like I'm not at my best if the people that I love aren't at their best. So what wakes me up in the morning and what keeps me going is I know that a lot of people is depending on me, and whenever I'm doing good, my family's happy and they doing good. So that's my drive and my motivation.
That's great to hear. And with that being said, I'm not gonna keep you too long, like I said. So I just want to say I appreciate you
I appreciate you for
for
having
doing this. Any closing remarks before we go?
me. Nah, not really. Just thank you for having me, and LSU gonna be on top this season.
Yes, sir. Thank you again.